If you had to focus on one key difference between that BJP and this BJP, politically, not as a journalist, but politically, what is that difference?
It would have to be two.
Okay.
One is coalition era to single party rule. The minute Narendra Modi comes to Delhi, we get the BJP has a simple majority. So in the slowly the allies drift away. Vajpayee ran a coalition. Then the personalities of the people at the helm. Vajpayee's personality was that of a parliamentarian. As a Jansang MP, he came through the parliamentary system. He respected the norms of parliament. He debate and dissent, and actually by the time he becomes prime minister, he's much older. We've actually not seen his best performances, the kind of performances that had Nehru saying, this young man will go far, that had Jawaharlal Nehru. So he's a different product. He's a product of a different kind of politics, even though it's opposition politics. Whereas Prime Minister Narendra Modi is a product, if we examine his thought processes, even the statements he makes, he is a product of the RSS. But he too he's a phenomenal achiever. So Atal Bihari Vajpayee achieves in parliament, and Narendra Modi achieves in the organization part of the BJP. And that is one part of his persona that we do not pay enough attention to.
So let's pick up this point about moving from coalition to a single party era. You know, there's a lot of debate and there's been no consensus on this question. Was Vajpayee really the moderate to Narendra Modi's more, some would say, extreme politics? Or was it simply that Vajpayee did not have the numbers to implement all of the sort of pet projects of the RSS that the Modi government has now put into motion, right? 370, the Ayodhya Mandir being two top ones. We could be looking at a uniform civil code. If not now, then after the elections, let's see. Now, these were always in the BJP manifesto.
Absolutely.
Let's be fair. Yeah. It's not that they have appeared in the manifesto after Modi, right? Is it that Vajpayee was never really the moderate that liberals today look at, through a CPR-tinted rearview mirror, and he simply didn't have the numbers? Or philosophically, ideologically, do you find the two to be quite different?
I think Vajpayee was, if we study some of the earlier books, even before I got to cover him, if we read some of the books about him, and he was ideologically, he had an ideological orientation. But I think his personality was such that he got along with people of differing opinions, and he was a compromised individual, and he was really a fine parliamentarian. He really had skills in that department. And if we look at the statements of Lal Krishna Advani, who was the strategic thinker of that era BJP, he says that Vajpayee was necessary because he was not acceptable. He virtually says that.
Advani was not acceptable.
Yes. Advani virtually, if you read his texts and whatever, you will realize it is a strategic thinking that Advani is seen as the person who's leading the Ram Mandir charge, and the BJP does not have numbers. If you recall, the numbers in those days always stuck at 183 MPs, 182, 183 MPs. When Vajpayee was the Prime Minister. Vajpayee had the achievement, one very important achievement is that he led the first coalition in India which completed a term. 98 to 99, it falls, the government falls. Jayalalitha pulls out. But then the next one that's voted in with more or less the same numbers stays in power for 6 months. So he runs an amazing coalition. He runs a very successful coalition.
And that in a way tempers his politics also.
That also tempers his politics, and I don't think that he was an intolerant in the kind of person that he was. He had shades. Vajpayee is harder to define in a black or white face. He has many shades of grey, even as a human being, even in his personal life, even in the way he would meet people, even in his lack of vindictiveness towards journalists who were apparently critical of him. He didn't have all those areas. He was different. He was an individual, I believe, who had a lot of shades of grey in him.